Sugar is not just making you gain weight. It may be training your brain. It can make you want more even when you are full. It can make normal food feel boring. It can make your mood swing, your focus crash, and your mind keep reaching for the next sweet hit. And the worst part is that most people think this is normal. By the end of this, you will see why sugar does not only affect your body. It can change how your brain looks for reward, how it handles energy, and why walking away from sugar can feel so hard in the first place. Sugar works fast. That is part of the problem. The moment you taste something sweet, your brain pays attention. Sweetness is a signal. It tells the brain that something rich in energy may be coming. The brain likes that. It is built to notice things that help us survive. And sweet foods can light up that system very quickly. One of the main brain chemicals involved is dopamine. Dopamine helps drive reward, learning, and desire. It helps your brain remember what felt good, so you will look for it again. That is useful when the reward is something your body truly needs. But it can become a problem when the reward keeps coming in a fast, easy, powerful form. That is what sugar does. It gives your brain a quick reward signal. Not just because it tastes good, but because your brain starts linking sweet taste with pleasure and fast energy. Over time, the brain begins to expect that feeling. It starts to learn the pattern. That is why sugar can become more than food. It becomes a habit, a shortcut, a fast answer to stress, boredom, sadness, or low energy. At first, it may seem harmless. A cookie when you feel tired, a soda in the afternoon, a sweet coffee to get through the day. But the brain is always learning. If sugar keeps showing up when you need comfort or energy, the brain starts to connect the two. It begins to say, "This helps, do it again." That is when the trap starts. The first part of the trap is the rush. You eat sugar. Your brain gets a reward signal. For a short time, you may feel better, calmer, or more awake. The hit comes fast. Your brain likes fast rewards because they are easy to remember. The second part is the crash. Sugar goes into your blood. Insulin rises to help move it out of the blood and into cells. Then the level can drop. When that drop comes too fast, you may feel tired, shaky, hungry, or foggy. You may feel off and not even know why. Then comes the third part. Your brain remembers that sugar seemed to fix the problem last time. So you want more. Now the brain is not just enjoying sugar, it is chasing it. This is why so many people say they need something sweet in the afternoon, or after dinner, or when they feel stressed. It can feel like the sugar is helping, but many times, sugar helped create the unstable feeling first, then stepped in as the quick rescue. That is a hard loop to break. The brain also adapts. When a reward keeps showing up again and again, the response can change. The same amount may not feel as exciting as it did before. So people often want more sweetness, more often, bigger portions, stronger flavors. That is why foods that once tasted very sweet can start to feel normal. And foods that are not very sweet can start to feel dull. A banana may stop feeling exciting. Plain yogurt may seem boring. Nuts may not feel rewarding at all. But candy, soda, sweet cereal, and desserts still hit hard. The brain has learned to expect a louder signal. This does not mean you are weak. It means your brain is doing what brains do. It is learning from repetition. There is another side to this story that matters just as much. Your brain needs steady energy. It uses a huge amount of fuel every day. It works best when that fuel is stable. It does not like wild swings. When you eat a lot of sugar, especially over and over through the day, your energy can become less steady. You may feel sharp for a moment, then foggy later. You may feel wired, then flat. You may think you need sugar to focus, when really you are stuck in a cycle that keeps breaking your focus apart. Many people live in that cycle for years. They wake up tired, use sugar to get going, crash later, reach for more, and repeat it the next day. After a while, the problem can go deeper than cravings and energy swings. It can begin to affect insulin itself. Most people think insulin is only about blood sugar. But insulin also matters in the brain. It helps with brain cell function. It helps with learning and memory. It plays a role in how some parts of the brain use energy and send signals. When the body becomes insulin resistant, the brain can be affected too. That means the brain may not respond to insulin as well as it should. And when that happens, brain cells may have a harder time doing their job. This is especially important in a part of the brain called the hippocampus. The hippocampus helps you learn and make memories. It helps you hold onto new information. It helps you place events in order and make sense of what happened. If insulin signaling in that area starts to weaken, memory and thinking can suffer. This is one reason researchers care so much about high-sugar diets and brain health. The problem is not only that sugar makes you want more sugar, the problem is that a long pattern of high sugar intake may also affect the systems your brain uses to think clearly. And that is where the story gets more serious. Sugar can also raise inflammation in the body. It can increase oxidative stress, which is a kind of wear and tear inside cells. That matters because the brain is very sensitive. It needs a stable, clean environment to work well. Too much stress in the system can make it harder for brain cells to function the way they should. Then there are the blood vessels. Your brain needs a constant flow of oxygen and nutrients. Tiny blood vessels help deliver that supply every second of the day. Over time, high blood sugar and poor metabolic health can damage blood vessels. When blood vessels become less healthy, the brain may not get the same steady support. So now the brain is getting hit from more than one side. The reward system gets trained to chase fast pleasure. Energy becomes less stable. Insulin signaling may weaken. Inflammation rise. Blood vessels may take damage. That is a lot of pressure on one organ. And the scary part is that it can happen slowly enough that you do not notice it at first. You may just think you are tired. You may think you need more coffee. You may think you are bad at focusing. You may think your mood is the problem. You may think your cravings are just a lack of willpower. But sometimes the pattern is bigger than that. Sometimes the food is shaping the brain that is trying to resist the food. That is why sugar can feel so hard to cut back on. Some experts argue about whether sugar should be called addictive in the same way as drugs. That debate is still going on. Sugar is not the same thing as cocaine or heroin. But many researchers agree that sugar can strongly affect the brain's reward system and drive repeated behavior in a way that looks very similar to addiction in some people. So even if the label is debated, the pattern is real. The cravings are real. The habit loop is real. The loss of control some people feel is real. And modern foods make the problem worse. Sugar today is not just in dessert. It is in drinks, sauces, bars, cereals, flavored yogurt, bread, coffee drinks, sports drinks, and foods sold as healthy. A lot of it comes in forms that are easy to eat fast and easy to overdo. Liquid sugar may be one of the biggest problems of all. When sugar comes in a drink, it hits fast. There is no chewing, very little slowing down, often no fiber. You can drink a large amount in minutes and still not feel full. So, the brain gets the reward, but the body may not send a strong stop signal. That teaches the brain a dangerous lesson. Fast sugar, fast reward, easy repeat. That is why a soda, sweet tea, juice drink, or sweet coffee can be harder to control than a whole food meal. The signal is strong, quick, and easy to repeat. And over time, that repeated pattern may affect more than cravings. It may affect memory and long-term brain health too. Researchers have found links between high sugar intake, poor metabolic health, and a greater risk of cognitive decline. That does not mean sugar is the only cause. It is not. Brain health is shaped by many things, like sleep, exercise, stress, blood pressure, age, and genetics. But sugar can add to the burden. It can make a bad situation worse. It can push the system in the wrong direction for years. That is why some researchers use the term type 3 diabetes when talking about Alzheimer's disease and brain insulin problems. It is not an official diagnosis, but it shows how closely some scientists see the link between blood sugar problems and brain decline. So when you ask what sugar does to your brain, the answer is bigger than most people think. It can train your brain to chase reward. It can make normal food seem less exciting. It can pull you into spikes, crashes, and cravings. It can shake your focus. It can mess with your mood. It can strain the systems tied to learning and memory. And over enough time, it may help move the brain toward decline. The good news is that the brain can change too. When people cut back on added sugar, the first few days can feel rough. That is normal. Food may taste bland. Cravings may get louder before they get quieter. Mood may dip. Energy may feel strange. That does not mean you need sugar. It often means your brain is adjusting to less intense reward. Then something starts to shift. Sweet foods stop controlling your attention the same way. Fruit begins to taste sweeter. Normal food starts to feel good again. Energy becomes more steady. Cravings often become less intense. People can focus longer without needing a snack every hour. That is what happens when the reward system calms down. The goal is not fear. The goal is understanding. A piece of whole fruit is not the same as a giant soda. A meal is not the same as a sugar drink on an empty stomach. The real issue is repeated added sugar, especially in foods and drinks that hit fast and train the brain hard. If you want to protect your brain, start by looking at sugar in a new way. Do not just ask if it tastes good, ask what it is teaching your brain. Because every time sugar becomes the answer to stress, boredom, sadness, or low energy, the lesson gets stronger. Do this again. Reach for this again. Need this again. That is the part most people never see. Sugar is not only entering your mouth, it is shaping the way your brain looks for comfort, reward, and relief. And once that pattern is built, it can start to feel like your personality. Like you are just a person with cravings. Like you are just bad at self-control. Like you are just someone who needs a treat to get through the day. But many times, that is not your personality. It is training, and the more often the lesson repeats, the deeper it goes. That is the dopamine trap. Sugar feels like a reward, but it can slowly take control of the system that decides what feels rewarding in the first place. And when that happens, sugar stops being a simple treat. It becomes something that teaches your brain to keep asking for the very thing that keeps it stuck.